Marvin came all the way from Ohio to share with us, so we're going to do all our speakers now while we got the mic and we're hot. And look, I can't say enough about Marvin, one of the humblest recovery people I know. You know, he found us in the jail setting. He listened to us. He came to reentry. He stayed in sober living. And he's just been going strong ever since. Marvin, we love you. And thank you so much for coming in today and speaking. Give Marvin Monroe a big hand.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marvin Monroe, and I am a recovering addict with 18 years clean. I came down from Ohio because John asked me to, and because I owe this program, because this program saved my life. I want to thank John and Honesty and Carol for, starting the McShin Foundation and allowing addicts like me to be able to come before you today and share with you exactly what the key is to recovery. For me, the key to recovery is spirituality. You have to realize that there is a God of your understanding that is in control of your life. And when you decide to surrender and say to yourself, and that's step one, that I'm an addict and I can't do it anymore, that's when your recovery will start. It's been tough these 18 years, but you know what? It wasn't as tough as it was to go through the 20 years of using. I grew up on the north side of Richmond, over by John Marshall High School. And through high school, I was a stellar athlete, as you can believe, if you can believe. I lettered in 3 sports: baseball, football, and soccer. And I ended up getting a soccer scholarship to go to college. Went to college, got my degree, ended up coming out of school in 1980, working for a company as an electrical engineer. Got married, stayed married for 5 years after the divorce, which was because of my using. I ended up going on a tailspin, going into a tailspin for 20 years of using. Cocaine was big at that time. I was a professional. I was a professional engineer that was making close to 50 grand at that time of the year. 1980s was a really hard time for cocaine. Everybody was doing it, and it became fun, and it became actually my girlfriend. But anyway, I say all that to say this. My foundation was set a long time ago when I was a child, in believing that there was a spiritual being that was ahead of my life. And what that spiritual being, what happened with that is that I got away from that. And what this program does, it tries to bring you back to a spiritual belief. It's really interesting, but in the basic text, it says, let me see if I can get it up here now. And it's actually in the introduction. It says here, based on our experience, we believe that every addict, including a potential addict, suffers from an incurable disease of body, mind, and spirit. We were in the grip of a hopeless dilemma, the solution of which is spiritual in nature. Therefore, this book that you read, that blue book, will deal with spiritual matters. I'm going to take you guys on a little journey about when I was in jail at Pamunkey. I was given 9 months to serve for a cocaine charge that was nothing but paraphernalia. But going to Pamunkey, like Mr. Ryan said, saved my life. Going to jail saved my life. It really was an experience that I had to go through in order to become the person that I am today. For 9 months, I said to myself, I have to get through this 9 months, and when I get out, I don't know what's going to happen. What ended up happening was I ended up doing the time, but when I was doing the time, I said to myself I had to get a job as a trustee within the Pamunkey Regional Jail. I did that, and I ended up with every job for that 9 months, working in the library, working in the hallways, working, all throughout the jail just to do my time. So one day, when I was in the library, I was like writing letters trying to get to halfway houses because I knew I had nowhere to go, because actually what had happened was my mom passed away, who was my crutch. So I knew that when I got out of jail, I had no place to go. So I'm writing letters, no answers. Writing letters, no answers. So anyway, one day I'm working in the hallways, and I see a paper, a local Hanover paper on the floor. I picked this paper up, and there's an article that says the McShin Foundation is coming for a recovery program. And the last paragraph said, and they have recovery houses. That turned on a light that gave me hope that I would have someplace to go. So when John showed up at the program at the jail, I had just gotten a job working in the canteen, which meant that, I had to deliver the canteen to all the inmates, which was the best job, I thought, in the program, in the jail. So anyway, John was having the program at a certain time during the morning, and I was working during that certain time in the morning. And I would say to John, I'm coming, but I just couldn't get it done, okay? I just couldn't, put forth the effort to get to that program in the jail. But lo and behold, because I couldn't do it myself, God did it for me. What ended up happening was this. Because I was working in the trustee dorm, people who would leave the program, would leave the jail, would leave their supplies with me. Like they would leave their soaps, they would leave their, their food. So what happened was we had an inspection in my dorm, and it was all up under my bed. And what happened was I caught a charge because they thought I had stolen stuff from the canteen, when I didn't, okay? But because of this issue, they put me back in population. And what happened was, because they put me back in population, they gave me time to go to the program. So see, what God done for me, I couldn't do for myself. You understand what I'm saying? So, what I see, I went to a meeting last night over at the Hatcher building. And I sat there and I looked, and the rooms are full. They're full of addicts that are trying to get this thing. But in all honesty, you got to start believing in something that you cannot see. You have to start believing in a God of your understanding. Because if you don't, it's not going to work. My foundation was set a long time ago when I was a kid. So it was not easy, but it was easier for me to accept the fact that I had to put God back in my life. This whole situation here is all due to God, really. John and Carol have done an amazing job in getting this done. I mean, I've been here for I've been clean for 18 years. They started this program 19 years ago, right, Carol? So, you know, to go from the humble beginnings where you had 3 baby recovery houses to 16 now, a podcast, I mean, a festival as big as this, man, look, 5 years, but back in 2015 I came out here and it wasn't like this. This is amazing. Why? Because they're doing God's work, really, okay, seriously. I don't want to be up here preaching, okay, because I know that a lot of people have issues with religion and all that kind of stuff. But the spirituality thing, you got to get it. Because if you don't, you're going to lose this battle. You're in a battle right now for your life. You're in a spiritual battle, and he's trying to kill and destroy you. And if you don't start thinking about a higher power and realizing that he's in control of your life, you're going to die. You're going to die. And you don't want that. You don't want to die before your time. Everybody has a purpose in their life. Everybody. What that purpose is, I don't know. But I do know this. You're not going to realize what it is until you stop using it. I really believe that. I'm going to give you guys another little story about how God works. In 2017, actually it was 2016 when I discovered it, my heart had started to fail. I had what they call a congestive heart failure. And what was going on with me was that my ejection fraction, the amount of blood that's being pumped into your body, was like at 25%, when it's supposed to be like at 55. Not 100, you never get to 100%, but 55% is where it's supposed to be. Anyway, to make a long story short, my brother's an anesthesiologist. And when I moved to Youngstown, Ohio, I didn't think that this would ever happen. But he happened to be a doctor that knew the surgeon, that knew the anesthesiologist, that knew all the nurses that were in my operating room. I say that to say this. One day before my operation, I was in the mirror and I was looking at myself and I said to myself, there's going to be a slit down my chest, okay? And I was like saying to myself, how am I going to live with that? And God said to me, you're going to be okay, but they're going to have trouble starting your heart. And I said, well, God, if that's the case, please start my heart again, and I will praise you forever. So what ended up happening was this. It happened just like I said. My heart was hard to start after the surgery. What they did was they replaced my mitral valve and my tricuspid valve. It was open heart surgery. And my pressure was so low, they couldn't get it to start back up. But what I said to say this, because my brother knew everybody in that operating room, do you really think that they didn't go the extra mile to keep me alive? What are the chances of that happening? Me moving to Youngstown, me going to have heart surgery, me allowing, this thing to happen back in, 2000 and, well, actually I started using it in 80, but I abused my heart. But God allowed this thing to happen where that I survived because of God's plan for my life. I'm telling you guys, you got to get spiritual. You gotta do it. I know that when I looked in the eyes of the people last night, everybody was looking lost. I mean, lost. I mean, their eyes were like fixated. And it was like, oh my goodness. Listen to me, you guys. Spirituality is the key. If you don't get it, you know, you're gonna suffer through this situation. Get with a spiritual advisor, sponsor, whoever you need to do, okay? Because believe me, it's the answer to all your problems. No, it's not easy staying clean. No, it's not easy being, you know, thinking about not getting high again. But guess what? It's better than better than using, man. I'm telling you. I can remember when I was using, man. I was like every day, man. It was a struggle. I don't have to do that today. I'm feeling good. I'm now what, 6 years almost with this after the surgery. I take a lot of medication, but you know what? It is what it is. But guess what? It's keeping me better. It's keeping me stronger, and it's allowing me to do the things I was supposed to do. What I am today, I don't have any children, but I am an uncle. And all my nephews and nieces look up to me. Why? Because they didn't know me back then, but they know me now. They know that I'm there for them, and they know that, hey, all we gotta do is call Uncle Marvin. I'm not gonna sit up here and talk all day because I think that this program has shown what it is for me, okay? Now, I want to say one more thing before I close. When you're out there getting high, people who don't get high know it. There's an aura that is around you when you're getting high. I can remember when I was getting high and I would speak to somebody just in passing and they would just ignore me. It was terrible. I would say, well, why are they speaking to me? Okay? Because I was carrying this aura. This aura that I was carrying was a disease of addiction. But today, it's completely different. Everybody wants to know Uncle Marvin. Everybody wants to know Marvin. What are you doing? Hey, listen. I get it. God has cleaned me up. God has allowed me to get where I am today. And believe me, it works. Thanks for letting me share.
I'm just going to get him to do a little while.